Hi, I'm back. I wanted to come back and make these videos again because I had so much fun making them when I was making them back then. It's been like, how long? Maybe my last video was in 2019, I want to say. It's 2023 now. So I always enjoyed making these videos and I liked making them on a regular basis. I'm gonna be better at putting my background and whatever it is I have to do. I got this cute little on air thing that I'm gonna put in the back of me from now on because it just says on air, like I'm on air, you know, I'm famous, whatever. I just wanted to get back into my YouTube game. I'm gonna try to be consistent with it just like I was back then, once a week, you know. And you know the gist of my videos, it has to do with mental health, how to improve personal development, personal improvement, how to manage your goals and stuff like that. So with this video, you can already read in the title, how to teach others how to treat you. Okay, now that might seem simple. To some of us, we weren't taught this growing up. As I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, I have grown as a person. Obviously, I'm a mother now, so I have learned a lot of new things, obviously. A lot of us didn't grow up being taught these things, and a lot of us haven't gone to therapy, don't want to go to therapy, whatever it is. So I just want to be like, I want to be like that big sister who teaches you these kind of things, especially to my people, like my Latinas and my Latinos, like that weren't taught these things or that don't believe in it. I'm a firm believer, so I want to teach you what was taught to me, okay? So this is going to be my video back, and I hope that you enjoy. So the first step to teaching others how to treat you, number one is going to be to know your boundaries. I know a lot of us struggle with this. I know I did, and I still struggle to this day. I am growing in that department in itself as of now, so I have learned a thing or two about placing boundaries. So let me give you some tips. Now, in order for you to place boundaries, you must know thyself. You have to know what's clear to you. You have to know what's important to you. And what I mean by that is that you have to know your values. You have to know your limits. You have to know when someone can't cross that line. But first you have to know where that line lies. Take some time to reflect. I recommend, and you can find this anywhere online, to look up a list of values and to mark what are your most important values, because that's where you start. You have to learn what's important to you, because if you know what's important to you, you're not going to associate yourself with people who don't align with what's important to you, right? You have to learn that about yourself before you even place any boundaries, because how can you place boundaries when you don't know where that line is, when you don't know where your limit is? That's how a lot of us get taken advantage of, because you don't know what your limit is. Number two, you have to communicate effectively and assertively. And what that means is when someone is trying to talk to you in a way that you don't accept, you have to set them straight right then and there. And I know that might be uncomfortable to some of you, especially if you grew up people pleasing, and especially if you don't know your boundaries, first of all, but you have to learn how to shut that down as soon as it happens. As soon as you feel uncomfortable, you have to go ahead and express it. You have to be firm. Like, I don't like it when you speak to me like this. I don't like it when you do this and that, because I feel this and this. But you have to do it assertively. You can't be like, well, I don't really like, you can't do that. No. And it doesn't mean that you have to be aggressive. There's a difference between being aggressive and there's a difference between being assertive. You have to be able to vocalize what it is that makes you feel uncomfortable. And that's going to put you in a vulnerable position. But you know what? Being vulnerable is a strength and it's not a weakness. And as soon as you're able to express that, you're going to be the winner here. Going on to my next tip. You have to be consistent. That as soon as you get disrespected or you feel uncomfortable and you vocalize that, you have to be consistent with the next time they do the same thing, or if somebody else does the same thing. Assuming you're dealing with a relative or a loved one really close to you, you have to be consistent with that. You can't vocalize that something is uncomfortable to you or makes you feel a certain way, and the next time they do it, you just let it slide, because that causes confusion. Like, I would just be like, okay, so that day you just probably were in a bad mood. You didn't really mean it. Let me go ahead and keep doing it. That's the kind of message that you're giving out to people, and you don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and shut it down as soon as it happens, and if it happens again, shut it down again. Another way to teach others how to treat you is, of course, by leading by example. If you want somebody to treat you with kindness and respect, you have to do the same thing. You have to be the one to show that. You have to treat others with respect too. You can't expect that if you're not giving it off to others yourself. Okay, so another essential tip is to set consequences. So when you set a consequence, you want to tell this person ahead of time. For example, I don't like it when you do this. If you continue to do this, I'm gonna have to stop talking to you. Or if you continue to do this, I'm gonna have to place a distance on you. That's setting a comfortable consequence. You're just letting them know that they cannot treat you this way. Otherwise, you're gonna limit your existence with them. And that's just a normal consequence of what it is when someone disrespects you. Next, this is very important. You have to avoid passive-aggressive behavior. You have to be direct and clear about what you're saying. Because if you're being passive, all that's gonna do is cause misunderstandings and it can cause resentment. You don't wanna do that. You don't wanna cause confusion in what you're trying to do with somebody. You wanna be clear, like, hey, I don't like this because of this, and if you don't stop, this is what's gonna happen. And like I said, there's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. So this next one is gonna cause some feels because some of us are not used to this. You have to have self-compassion for yourself. As much compassion as you have for somebody else or somebody that you love, you have to have that same for you. You have to know that it's okay to stand up for yourself and your well-being. You might have a fear of confrontation and you might have a fear of a negative reaction, but that's normal, especially if you've never done this before. You have to be able to stand that and to face that. And another one, you have to surround yourself with supportive people. You do not want to be around people that are constantly challenging your boundaries. You just don't. You have to not be afraid to walk away from these people because essentially after you've communicated what it is that you don't like and for them not to cross that line, if they keep doing it, why are you still hanging out with them? You gotta cut them off. So when you surround yourself with the right people, it's just going to encourage you to keep reinforcing these positive attributes that you're trying to instill in your life, that you're trying to teach onto others. Like I said, this all can be very hard, especially if you've never done it before. You're gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel like you're the villain, but you're not. You just have to have that compassion and kindness to yourself to know that just like you don't want others to be disrespected, you don't want to be disrespected either. And just like you will want to stand up for somebody else, you can stand up for yourself. These are just a few tips that I learned along the way that you can go ahead and teach others or go ahead and instill in yourself. Be authentic in who you're communicating with. In this life, you want to be surrounded with people, like I said before, you want to be surrounded with people that support you, people that love you, not people that are constantly testing you and challenging you. That's not love and that has nothing to do with you. That's my video for today. And I love that you guys watched this whole video. I'm so grateful for everybody that watches it. Now, if you can like, share, and subscribe, that would be fabulous. Don't be afraid to walk away. Love you guys. Have a great day.